Hello and welcome to Now German. Hallo Sie.
Hallo Gregor. Guten Morgen.
Good morning. Let's talk about address today. I think many addresses around the world are quite complicated, right?
Yes.
All kind of numbers and codes and whatever. But I have good news. The German, Swiss, and Austrian addresses are all really simple. Have you heard about that?
No?
All right, then it's good to look at today's dialogue because we'll mention it there and we'll talk about more details later. And here we
Yes.
go.
Guten Tag. Wie heißen Sie und was ist Ihre Adresse?
Name und Adresse. Okay. Vorname Max. Nachname Müller. Straße Bahnhofstraße 1. Postleitzahl 1010. Stadt Wien. Land Österreich.
Vielen Dank.
Bitte. All right. To make sense of that, let's jump into the vocabulary and look at more details of the exact addresses later. So first we have wie.
Wie?
That is how. And you see that in the sentence, wie heißen Sie?
Wie heißen Sie?
That's what's your name. And don't get confused here. The English question goes with what, but in German, we basically ask, how are you called? Wie heißen Sie?
Wie heißen Sie?
Yes. And then we have was.
Was
That is what. And ist.
ist
Is. And ihre.
Ihre?
That is your in the formal way. Do you know how you would say that if we are talking casually among friends and I would ask, what's your address? How would you say ihre in casual way?
Ihr? Du.
Du, yes, it is deine.
Deine.
Okay, but let's not make it more complicated. We'll look at it in upcoming lessons. And then we have die Adresse.
Die Adresse.
Yeah, that's the address. And der Name.
Der Name.
The name, almost like English. Like many of these terms are easy to learn because they are like English, right? Then we have der Vorname.
Der Vorname.
That's first name. And vor literally means like in front or before. So it's kind of the same as first, right? And then
Yes.
we have der Nachname.
Der Nachname.
That's the last name. And die Straße.
Die Straße.
That's the street. And also there is a postal code that is called die Postleitzahl.
Die Postleitzahl.
Yeah, that's a really long word to learn as a beginner. It's just important to know when you fill out any kind of forms. Let's briefly look at two parts of that word that you see inside there. One is die Post.
Die Post.
And post is like mail or post. Like, for example, in the UK, there is the Royal Mail, right? So the postal service in Switzerland and also in Germany used to be just called die Post.
Die Post.
Yes. And then we have die Zahl.
Die Zahl.
Yeah, that's just any kind of number, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And then die Stadt.
Die Stadt.
That's the city. And das Land.
Das Land.
That's the country. Literally, it means kind of like the land. You can see it sounds like the English word land, and that's another meaning of this word, but we also use it for country. And then we have viel.
Viel.
Be careful, this V or V in English, it's not a soft V, but it's the same as F, like F. So it is viel.
Viel.
Exactly. And it means much, many, or a lot, whenever you have a lot of something. So for example, when I give you some flowers, you will be happy if they are viel, won't you?
Yes.
All right. Then vielen Dank.
Vielen Dank.
Many thanks. And we'll also look at numbers later on, but you just see the first two numbers in this dialogue, which is eins,
1,
1, and null,
0.
0. And the city in this case we are talking about in German is called Wien.
Wien.
Yes, Wien. And that's the name of Vienna in German. Okay. All not too hard for you, right?
Yes.
Okay, now that we know all the vocabulary, let's look at the dialogue one more time and then we'll talk about the details of addresses in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland.
Guten Tag, wie heißen Sie und was ist Ihre Adresse?
Name und Adresse, okay. Vorname Max. Nachname Müller. Straße Bahnhofstraße 1. Postleitzahl 1010. Stadt Wien. Land Österreich.
Okay, vielen Dank.
Bitte. All right, now let's look at addresses. And it's actually really simple. We all have the same format. We basically have an optional title, so Mr., Miss, Doctor, Professor, whatever, but these days it's rarely used. And then we have a first name and last name, then a line for the street name, street number, and then another line for postal code and city or village name. And on the last name, if we send some kind of mail abroad or we have a form where it matters, the country name, then we also put the country. Really straightforward, right?
Yes.
So when I send postal cards or letters around the world, for example, to you, to London, I just see all kind of numbers in that address. Do you even know what they're from or what they're from?
I think it follows basically a similar logic. The only difference is that for each options, like the name will be a bit longer because there are so many different streets. And for the street, they have street number as well. So I think it's roughly the same, but it just look complicated, but it's not.
Yes. So either way, no matter how complicated it is in other countries, it might confuse me, but I think you won't be confused about addresses in Germany. And I think you won't either, right, Xi?
Yes.
Okay. Then let's take a last look at our dialogue for today.
Guten Tag, wie heißen Sie und was ist Ihre Adresse?
Name und Adresse, okay. Vorname Max. Nachname Müller. Straße Bahnhofstraße 1. Postleitzahl 1010. Stadt Wien. Land Österreich.
Okay, vielen Dank.
Bitte. One last thing to pay attention to is the intonation of the word Adresse. So in English it's like address, aber auf Deutsch, in German it is Adresse.
Adresse.
Yes, we kind of focus on the second syllable, Adresse.
Adresse.
Yes, perfect. All right, and that was our lesson today. Did you ever have to fill in an address anywhere? For example, also in London or in Switzerland?
Yes, all the time. If you pay something, you need to have your billing address.
Yes. Or also, we just registered you as a resident in Switzerland recently, and I had to fill in your address several times. Or if you sign up for any kind of German school, you'll also have to fill in your address. So this is why it's a crucial skill to learn early on. Don't worry about the complicated words like Postleitzahl, but now you know roughly what they are and you're able to fill in an address. All right, that's it for this lesson. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one. Tschüss.
Tschüss.